What's up to Lion Talk Live? So we love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Sheppard, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live, Coach Dan, by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
Woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host, once again, Dan Thornton. Hey, I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Lions Talk Live, you know what, morning show edition, and we've got a little something to talk about today. You know, the Detroit Lions, they're going to be up for some moves this offseason. What moves will they make? Who's coming in? Who might be leaving? We're going to analyze at least one side of the ball, and that's who potentially could be coming in this particular offseason. Where could Brand Holmes and the Detroit Lions go in free agency? I think it needs to all be on the table. You probably agree it all should be on the table. This team's got a whole lot of ability, a whole lot of stuff going forward. And yes, they've got the ability, if they add just a few key parts, hit it in the draft, they could return to the top team in the NFC. Because let's be honest, there's only 192 days to go until Detroit Lions start training camp. That's right. The countdown is on, and I think everybody here is chomping at the bit to get through the off season, through free agency and the draft, and then back onto the field. Try to have some revenge tour madness going on next year. Real quick, before we get into the main topic of the day, before we get into the 5 headlines now, you probably know the drill by now. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We are closing in on 16,100 subs. If you can help out with that, I surely would be thankful. Also, you get a free second of time. Reach on over, hit the thumbs up button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons. It all helps the show get out to more people who haven't discovered the channel. So if you can assist with this, I would be most thankful. Last, never least, if you are considering whether now, the upcoming year, anytime soon, know somebody might be considering it. Buying or selling property anywhere in the great state of Michigan where I reside or the continental United States of America, go ahead and give me a call or shoot me a text. You see the number on your screen, 269-998-2384. Been in the industry over 30 years. You want somebody who's going to watchdog for you, try to make sure you're not overcharged, overworked. Make sure you're getting a good deal on that property you're buying or selling. Go ahead and give me a call, shoot me a text. We'll have a quick conversation, see what I can do for you. All right, all that done, set out of the way. Hopefully you enjoyed the graphic, by the way. Yes, only 192 days to go until training camp. Let's get this show rock and rolling and going and kicking off with, as you probably guessed, 5 headlines now. All right, we got some glorious headlines coming your way. Detroit Lions offensive coordinator candidates, 10 names to know. Story by Josh Helmer of Lions Wire. Are there only 10? Well, it's going to be real quick, and though some of these names on this list are going to start flying off the list because teams are already trying to sign people. We've already heard that the New York Football Giants, as of late last night, sounds like they've already found a new coach trying to work out the details as far as their head coach. And after that, those hires happen. You guys get it. Subordinate coaches start flying off the board. Todd Monken of the Baltimore Ravens, offensive coordinator. He's looking for a job. He's 59 years old. What do you think about him? I think if you watch the Baltimore Ravens offense, there's a whole lot of good stuff about, from a structural standpoint, how they run block, how they work in pass patterns. You can't replicate what Lamar Jackson does, but doesn't mean you can't pay attention to the schematic principles used. I think he's not a bad option. This is going to be somebody that is a divisive one to most of the Duke crew. Brian Dable, the former New York Football Giants head coach. Most would agree him and Dan Campbell are friends. They have some sort of, friendship relationship or whatever. But the other part is Brian Dable, if you listen to a lot of people who are Giants fans, say he can be somebody who's really obstinate, doesn't always get along with front office personnel, his way or the highway. Is that going to work under MCDC? I'll leave that to you guys to ascertain. He's got his distractors. He's got his supporters. He's probably the hottest name on the list as far as you're one way or the other on him. See what you have to say. But he was the 2022 NFL Coach of the Year after leading the Giants to 9 regular season victories, clinching the team's first playoff berth in 6 years. After that, things kind of went south. We'll see where it shakes out. Cliff Kingsbury, former Washington Commanders offense coordinator. Most of you would probably remember him from being the Washington OC or maybe the Arizona Cardinals head coach. He had to run in with some other spots and positions as well. What we know is the trend I always like to say is your friend as a coach. People are caught off guard by some of his formations. I think he's got a pretty good mind. The problem I've had with Cliff Kingsbury in the past is it seems to get to a point in the season where he just doesn't make the counter punches, doesn't come up with some changes. Because of that, I think teams start getting an advantage on him. I thought you could see it when he was in Arizona and then also with Washington. So what I mean, first half of the season, he caught everybody off guard. Now they got film on you. They figure out what you like to do. Do you have anything to kind of counterpunch their counterpunch? All right, Zach Robinson, Atlanta Falcons offensive coordinator. If you watch the Falcons offense in recent years, I actually thought they were pretty good. Again, paying attention to X's and O's, how you scheme people open. I would not be upset by this hiring, but let me know your thoughts. MCDC with all these names, I think we'd agree, means he's going outside the house, outside the building, trying to bring in some fresh new perspectives. This next one, you guys already know he's set up to be interviewed by the Lions. That's David Blau, Washington Commanders assistant quarterback coach. Have your opinion on it. I shared mine when the news came out. I would not want to hire somebody where the team is here today that doesn't really have already experience at the position. Doesn't mean the guy can't be, the Michael Jordan of offensive coordinators and just knock the cover off the ball. My personal opinion, that's all it is when you're asking somebody to do something they've never done before, they go through a learning curve, and there's going to be issues with it. Now, Deacon Doyle is somebody we've also, Doyle with Chicago Bears. He's the offense coordinator. Could you bring him in if you want to keep the Ben Johnson route tree going on? Yes, you could. Could you interview him now? The simple answer is yes, you can. There'll be many people that will tell you, no, you can't until the Bears season's done. But wait, not so fast. In actuality, if you were going to interview him with the idea he's going to be the OC and assistant/associate head coach, basically give him a promotion, then yes, you could interview him right now, and there's nothing the Bears can do to block it or stop it. If you're just going to interview him to be the OC, they can block it until the season's over. So could Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions want to put one on the Chicago Bears? You could argue and say, sort of like Ben Johnson kind of got put in the same situation a year ago by getting interviewed by the Bears to be their head coach. You could. So we'll see what shakes out with this one. But I do think there's, in my opinion, he probably would be one of the top 3 candidates in my mind with it, even though, like I was saying, you want somebody who's already been there and done that. The problem with him is Ben Johnson's really been the OC in Chicago, but we'll see what you guys have to say about it. All right, Nate Schliehouse, the Los Angeles Rams pass game coordinator, sort of like we talked about. He's got a lot of stuff that some of these guys have as far as he's been directly involved with very good offensive-minded coaches. He just hasn't ever been an OC, so would you want him? He's 35 years old. He's already got a lot of NFL experience. This is his second season with the LA Rams, by the way, so see what shakes out there. All right, Thomas Brown, New England Patriots tight end coach / passing game coordinator. You get probably where I'm going with this one. He's probably up and comer, but you're going to have to roll the dice on somebody again who hasn't done it before. Scotty Montgomery, we talked about this one a couple days ago. Lions assistant head coach, wide receivers coach. He got interviewed to a certain degree a season ago for the job. MCDC didn't go with him. Maybe he regrets it now. Hank Fraley, Lions run game coordinator, offensive line coach. Got interviewed by Seattle, was in some level of consideration for the Lions OC job a year ago. Is it his time to shine? Is it Scotty Montgomery's time to shine? Let me know your thoughts if you want to in the comment section. All right, trying to speed through that one because that was a long one. All right, next to the 5 headlines now. Detroit Lions season flopped. Readers say it's not the same. This comes from the letter department of Detroit Free Press opinion staff like I said, the Free Press. So there's some people that say this season means same old Lions. it's nice to read through the Free Press, a bunch of readers who wrote in and just simply said, it's not the same old Lions. Everybody's going to have their own opinion on things. What I can say is summarizing these letters, the vast majority, but not all, of those who wrote into the Freep about this topic said, hey, this is not the same Lions team that we used to just feel like had no chance to ever do anything, wasn't relevant by any stretch of the imagination. Just they couldn't get out of their own way, always finding new ways to lose games, blowing draft picks. If it wasn't a first-round pick, that person was going to be out of the league, second, third, fourth, fifth round, etc., within a couple seasons. You guys probably, if you're watching the show, at least some of you remember before MCDC, and you could probably say whether it was the Patricia era or whoever else you want to throw out there, Lions just were not a sustainable product, and they missed on a whole lot of draft picks. So these these letters came into the Freep, and I would say somewhere around 70% of them were, it's not the same old Lions, it's the brand new Lions. But yes, they did not make the playoffs this year. You still feel a level of confidence in the organization. All right, NFL 2026 offseason calendar, key dates to watch for the Detroit Lions. MLive.com, story by Ben, Mr. Raven Nevermore. So there's going to be a whole lot of dates we want to pay attention to. Let's walk through these if we can real quick for you guys. January 14th, coming right up here, right? Deadline for underclassmen college football players to apply for special eligibility. January 23rd through the 27th, the East/West Shrine Bowl practices begin our popular college all-star football event. You're going to want to pay attention to that, especially as we go from that, get ready for the draft and a few months later. All right, January 27th through 31st, and right when the Shrine Bowl ends, the Senior Bowl begins. Same situation. You're trying to get things ready for the NFL draft, giving scouts hands-on abilities to watch people for the first time in person and maybe even pose some questions. February 3rd, the Pro Bowl games. This is a big deal nowadays for anybody. We'll see. But if you're a Detroit Lions fan, you want to watch Jack Campbell, Jameer Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Penei Sewell, and Aiden Hutchinson, potentially some others, take part in Pro Bowl performances, this is your opportunity. February 8th, big one here, the Super Bowl. Hey, it's in California, in Santa Clara. We know what happens right after this game is over. Free agency, more or less, is just a stone's throw away. February 17th, teams can begin using the franchise tag or transitional tags, whatever you want to do. The Lions haven't used their franchise tag since 2018 and only once since 2012. February 23rd through March 2nd, the annual NFL Scouting Combine is held in Indianapolis. Yes, we're all going to be chomping at the bit for that thing because that's really the first taste of hands-on experience, watching the numbers, the raw data for so many of these kids trying to get into the draft. March 3rd, the deadline for franchise or transitional tags are due by 4 p.m. March 9th through 11th, starting at noon on the 9th and until 3:59 p.m. on March 11th, teams make contact and begin negotiations with pending free agents. This will be a real tie-in today's main topic of the day. March 11th, the new league season begins at 4 p.m. Yeah, so 4 p.m., hey, we're all new. March 29th through April 1st, the NFL owners meeting in Phoenix, Arizona. Owners and executives vote on new rules, discuss league happenings, yada, yada, yada. You get it all there. April 15th, the final day teams can host draft prospects for visits, interviews, physical exams at their headquarters. April 12th, deadline for restricted free agents to sign their offer sheets. April 20th, teams with returning head coaches can start offseason workout programs. 22nd of April, deadline for teams to exercise the right of first refusal for restricted free agents. April 23rd through 29th. See, I told you there's a lot of stuff happening coming up. 26th NFL draft in Pittsburgh. Detroit is the 17th overall selection. May 1st, deadline to exercise the fifth-year option for the 2023 first-round picks. And yes, for the Detroit Lions, in case you haven't been paying attention, that's for Gibbs and Campbell. May 1st through 4th or May 8th through 11th, teams can hold their 3-day rookie camps. May 11th through and May 13th through 17th, the rookie developmental program begins, and the NFL PLA rookies premiere in Los Angeles goes for 4 days. early to mid-May. The NFL schedule release is not officially scheduled, but it will happen right around May 14th, we'll say. All right, there you go. That's the crux of the information there. Pay attention. Hopefully you wrote some of those dates down. All right. If I can get the buttons to work here. Detroit Lions have fourth most loudest fans. This comes for an in-depth analysis of the Detroit Lions and, well, to be fair, all NFL stadiums. Detroit Lions ranked fourth on this list. The Lions received a score of 44.2, which beat out other teams such as Green Bay, San Francisco, Kansas City to be ranked fourth. In part, this comes for their near season-long sellout figures, in which attendance for home games reached 99.88%. And so you guys get it. When you're there, you basically had 65,000 fans yelling and screaming, cheering on the team. Ford Field was deemed the fourth loudest in the NFL. All right, last up, 5 glorious headlines now. The one team that could have interest in stealing Calvin Sheppard away from the Lions, A to Z Sports, Mike Payton. So we get it. Everybody's looking for advantage, or maybe the best way to word it is their unfair advantage going forward into next season. Calvin Sheppard's name has popped up on a list, and let me know your thoughts. It does sound like the Arizona Cardinals have some considerations towards adding Calvin Sheppard potentially to their staff. I don't know if this will happen, but Sheppard's a divisive topic for a lot of Lions fans. Some think he did absolutely terrible. Others think he did really well. My personal opinion, for what it's worth, it's hard to say. I thought at times he looked very, very good out there. The defense looked very good. The end of the year against the Chicago Bears, I think very, very well. But with that also being said, injuries potentially played a part in it. The Lions did have a stretch that was near record bad, where you could see almost every week us giving up 500 or more yards, getting destroyed on the ground. Thankfully, they figured it out for the final game of the regular season. But if they could have figured out maybe a little bit sooner, maybe we get one more win and we're in the playoffs and then getting ready for this weekend. Is what it is. Two people can look at the same thing and see opposite stuff. Detroit Lions see somebody, at least as right now, they're showing support too. Could Calvin Sheppard leave for Arizona? One can only guess at this point. All right, with all that done, set out of the way, let's go over and get into the main topic of the day. Let's have a little fun with this. Let's try to put on our detective hats and see where it goes from there. All right, detective hats on. Let's dive into it. Detroit Lions, what are you going to do this offseason? I think everybody agrees we've got a ton of skilled position players. We've got a ton of stuff on the offensive side of the ball. You may be restructuring some contracts, and mostly for offensive skilled players. So if you're going to do that, you're going to intentionally free up a bunch of money. Where are you going to spend it? Well, we've worked on a little bit of a list for you guys for perhaps some people to consider. Let's assume that the Lions do restructure some contracts and free up some money. And yes, for those who haven't paid attention, they have the ability, if they really want to free up about $130 million. That's a ton of cash. Edge rusher. Could you go after a veteran edge rusher? Well, Jalen Phillips of the Philadelphia Eagles is going to be a free agent. You guys already know, so is Trey Hendrickson for the Cincinnati Bengals. You guys understand both these guys at some point in the last year or two have been rumored to come to the Detroit Lions via trades and the trade deadline. Now that you don't have to trade draft picks for them, you just have to trade contracts for them. Would you add one of these guys? If you would, who would you prefer out of those two, and how much would that cost? Henderson is coming off a bit of an injury, but hey, he's still one of the better pass rushers in the league. Phillips, I think he's more situational, but he's a little bit younger. He'll be one of the more premier free agents on this year's list, at least in my opinion, because I want to say he's like 26, 27 years old, so you get it. Young, can get to the quarterback, going to cost a contract, though. How about if we talk about other positions other than rushing the quarterback? And there's some other people, too. If you want to be probably more traditional Brad Holmes, you're going to go for somebody a little bit older, maybe a little bit more injured history. You could consider Joey Bosa or Khalil Mack. Both are going to be free agents. Both are going to be over 30. Probably can get both on 1, maybe 2-year deals. And I don't think you're going to have to break the bank at this point in time trying to get either one of them. But again, there's a lot of wear on those tires. We could say that maybe this is the biggest one that most people are going to talk about. That's going to be interior offensive line. You guys have already heard the rumors of Tyler Linderbaum coming on over. 25 years old, and whoever signs this kid, he's going to get a massive deal. He's already got some PR work going on that, hey, I'd be okay returning to Baltimore. But why wouldn't your representation say that? You're going to keep all 32 teams on the board and see who offers you the best contract. That's just good business. I don't, blame the kid one way or shape or form for doing that, or his representation for doing it. Somebody's going to go after him. It would seem like an ideal fit, him here in Detroit. Now, can the Detroit Lions make it happen? I don't know, but that would be the most un-Brad Holmes of move. While you're talking about him, though, there are some other guys to consider for that position or interior offensive lineman. So what I can say is there are a lot of good free agents out there. When it comes to the center position, how about Cade Mays? A center from the Carolina Panthers. He's a 2026 sixth-round pick, so not a lot of years on the guy. Did start off as the developmental piece at guard and center. He can play both. This past year, though, he had a very, very good season. He will be one of the more sought-after free agents because I don't think you're going to have to break the bank to acquire him. And the fact that he can play 3 of your offensive line positions is going to keep him highly on people's boards. I don't know enough about him to give you a fair opinion, and I'm being as upfront as honest when I say that. I've seen a little bit on him, but has it been enough to say, yes, you should go for him over somebody else? I'll leave that to you guys because I know some of you guys probably have already seen him quite a bit. All right, other positions on this list. What do you think about offensive tackle? There are some good offensive tackles out there. The biggest name is probably Green Bay's Rasheed Walker. He's 26 years old, or at least soon to be 26 years old. 3-year starter for the Packers. I know Jordan Love talks highly of him. I know the Packers talk highly of him. The fact that we've seen him play for a few years gives us probably a little bit more data than some other guys we haven't seen as much. Would you like to go out and try to get him? A short-term answer could be Braden Smith, who spent his first 8 NFL seasons with the Indianapolis Colts or Cleveland Browns, made a transitional tag acquisition of Cam Robinson. Either would not be a massive upgrade over Taylor Decker. I would say they're about on par, maybe slightly below, but you guys get it. You wouldn't have to break the bank for either Smith or Robinson. Let me know your thoughts on them. Both are not as young as Walker, but Walker, if you were able to get him, I mean, it comes down to how you want to play it. If you go fix the offensive line in free agency, you could spend all those draft picks on whatever you want, whether it's defense, offense, whatever. I would assume it'd be mostly defense because I don't think the offense needs much, but let me know your guys' thoughts. This, unfortunately, is going to be a topic of conversation all off season. That's going to be the safety position. You don't know what the situation was with Kirby Joseph. I can try to get all the information in the world for you, but I don't physically know how Kirby's doing. We could also say with Brian Branch, even though they made a ton of medical advances, really, I'd say in the last 3 to 5 years with torn Achilles and recovery process for it, where's either one of these guys going to be come next season? That's, I think, where really free agency could come in to kind of help the Detroit Lions figure that out. Brian Branch, you guys get it. He's going to be getting a new contract if the Lions staff and front offices think he's okay to move forward. Kirby Joseph got a new contract, and now we don't know what's going on with him. So could you go spend on another free agent safety? I think there's a lot of options out there. Cam Curl of the Los Angeles Rams has proven to be a versatile defensive back. Same with Colby Bryant of the Seattle Seahawks. Both these guys are going to be near the top of the list as far as free agents, unless there's somebody I'm not considering. DeAndre Washington of the Baltimore Ravens could also be an interesting option. But if you were the Duke crew, you're Brad Holmes right now. You've just freed up, whatever you want to say money-wise, whether they go $80 million, they free up, or $130 million. Where are you going to spend that money? You're not restructuring contracts if you're not going out spending. That would be my opinion. I've given you some names to consider, and we could go on and on with this because, there are probably 50 top-tier level free agents. Cade Mays, the center from the Carolina Panthers, I would probably put him in somewhere in the 40s range. I don't think they're going to go after any kind of running back or quarterback, unless it's like somebody who isn't top 50, maybe, bottom 150 or something like that. But Jalen Hawkins of the New England Patriots is another safety, just turned 29. Could you get a couple seasons out of him? Probably. Brian Cook for the Kansas City Chiefs is another safety I'll throw out there. Here's an interesting one for the offensive line. If you want to try to save some money, you're only really thinking 1, maybe 2 years. And then to be Joel Bittner of the Cleveland Browns. He talked about retiring last year. He's talked about it doing it again this year. He still plays at a high level. He's 34 years old. He's made like 17,000 Pro Bowls. You guys probably know who he is. Rarely misses games because of injuries. He powers through it. So he could be somebody if you can bring him in on a year or so. The only thing is if you're going to bring him in at guard, you're obviously doing something with one of your younger guards, whether it's Ratledge to center or Frazier to tackle. I don't know. Veers Tucker, offensive lineman for the New York Jets. He's 26 years old. The problem with him is he's been a starting guard when healthy. He has had some significant injury history over his career. And I could go on days and days and days with some of the different free agents. Dave Edwards is a guard from the Buffalo Bills. He was a 2019 fifth-round pick out of Wisconsin. Plays over 95% of the offensive snaps in both 24 and 25, so that's a good thing, especially for Detroit Lions concerns. Andre Wingard, safety from the Jacksonville Jaguars, will be somebody of interest. Boyd Math, edge from the Seattle Seahawks, is also another person of interest. Again, I'm not going to go through everybody out there. You guys get it. There are some options, but if you're going to free up that money, you're Brad Holmes, where would you be investing those funds? All right, I've presented the evidence to you, the judge and jury. And yes, if you did not know, there's 192 days to go until we hit back on the practice fields for the Detroit Lions to get out there for training camp. All right, I'm going to scroll to the top of the screen and see what you guys have to say about all these topics and maybe just a little bit more. And still scrolling, still going, still moving. All right, here we go. Michael, good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. Back at you. Conan, good morning. Several interesting options for teams to consider going to free agency. Where will we spend our money? You know, I've offered my thoughts, and my thoughts are if the Lions are going to do it, there's really only a couple spots that I would do it. The offensive line, edge, and safety. Outside of that, I think I'm hitting everything with the draft, although I will say this. You could probably, if you want to take safety off free agency, this is a draft to do it. There are a lot of good safeties out there. You could keep costs down if you draft safety depth, I guess, in case you have to use those a little bit more over Branch or Kirby. I just, you know, the way I look at it is you've got so much money invested in the offense with Goff, Gibbs, Montgomery. I do hope Montgomery stays. The tight end position with Laporta, the wide receivers, obviously. I would invest our free agent money into the offensive line, fix it, and then focus everything on the draft. I think I've said that before, but I don't know if that's what they're going to do. Susan, if we don't restructure contracts for Goff and others, how much cap do we have? I believe if we roll over the remaining cap from this year into next year, we're going to have right around 14, 15 million, somewhere in that neighborhood, which I don't think is going to last. I mean, that's not a lot of money in today's NFL. Plus, whatever the cap does go up, if it does go up, I guess you got to add that on too. Okay, good morning, Duke Crew. One Pride. AD, we do have behind door number 1 and a Panthers jersey, isn't it? All right, we'll go with that. We'll find out what is behind door number 1 or 2. Johnny, good morning, folks. Hookadoo. Good morning, Johnny. Bo, good morning, Duke Crew. Secret free agent man, exclamation point. Woo! I like what you did there, by the way. Johnny, good morning to you, Hookadoo. Johnny, hey, Coach, did you catch that video? Question mark. I sent you this morning about Jahmyr Gibbs' high school football video. No, I haven't watched any of that stuff yet. I woke up, got some stuff done, and then, you know, started working on this. Hookadoo, let's just hope it's not a double O negative, Bo, with a prayer. Big Eddie. Let's see. I think next year comes down to what we do in the draft and free agency. We need to go all in. I think we're at the point where I would now say, yes, we need to go all in. The simple thoughts behind it is just that you've got a great core of young players on this team. I'm going to assume you're not going to forget how to evaluate talent, so your drafts should continue to be good. And yes, if you're going to have that kind of money, if you're going to restructure some contracts, you're committed to the next, 3-ish years. You need to go all in and try to win it. Johnny, I completely agree with you on that, Big Eddie, but will they? We'll find out. Trey, what's good already? Question mark. Coach, you should do a live cast for the Packers versus Bears game. We could cheer against both teams. We could have some fun with it. I'll have to check and see on that. We'll get back to you guys. Johnny, I feel the need to speed. How about for speed indeed? David, fix the offensive line. That gives Goff more time and the ground game, the ability to pound more. Keep money. I like the way you were thinking. Who do? I'll cheer for the Packers before I cheer for the Teddy Bears with an exclamation point. Let's see, Johnny, absolutely. Dave Van must stay. We'll see if Monty can stay indeed. Jess, really sanitation Duke Crew. Does anyone think Brad gets aggressive this year in free agent because both he and Dan are under pressure now? Hey, we'll find out. I do think we talked about this year wasn't terrible, just wasn't what you expected. So has Sheila talked to him and say, hey, not 2 years in a row? If that has happened, then yes, they probably need to be a little bit more aggressive. Hook to 100%. Monty has to stay. I like the way you're thinking. Johnny, petition for Monty. We'll get it going. Miles Mark, greetings, salutations, coach and crew of Hardcore Lions fandom. We are some hardcore fans in here. Jess, give a shout out to Hutch. Career highs in almost everything coming off that broken leg. Yes, he did. He had a pretty good year. Johnny, petition for money. We'll get that thing started. Okay, the man, the myth, Miles Marker is in the house. Exclamation point, grip morning, and grip morning to you all. Dre Day, so many NFC teams to hate on that are in the playoffs. Skip the Packers and the Bears. The Rams are just because of Stafford and no Philly. Repeat, please. Would love to see Darnold win. Team non-mobile quarterback. You know, I know people always talk about mobile quarterbacks, but I look around and I think there's probably still about 8 or 10 not mobile quarterbacks. Doesn't mean they can't move, but, as far as really somebody who's going to kill you running on the ground, probably not. Miles Martin, hey, yeah, hook it up. Pat, good morning, Duke Crew. Johnny, good morning to everybody. Henry Morris Sr., good morning, Coach Dan and Duke Crew. What a team. What a podcast. Exclamation point. What a time to be a Lions fan. Woo! And back at you, France, Jess. Yes, there would be my simple answer. They did wonders for the team, but now the team needs to go to another level. Yeah, that's the hard part. Once you get success, you got to sustain it and then even improve upon it if necessary. Anymore, Junior, good morning, everyone. And to you, Johnny L., good morning, Henry. Hookadoo, Henry and Pat have joined the Duke Crew this morning. Welcome in, fellas. Pat says morning, Hookadoo. Jen, good morning, all with an exclamation point. Hope you're enjoying work. Henry Moore, good morning, Johnny L., man of grit, Hookadoo, Jess, and Henry Jr., Henry Sr., good morning, Jen, Johnny, good morning, Jen, Henry, good morning, Pat, Drake, I'm thinking Rat will get moved to center, and the guards will be Frazier, Christian Mahogany. Any thoughts on this, everyone? I think it's a possibility. I think it ultimately comes down to they feel like they can upgrade in any of those spots in free agency or the draft. I would think if you were going to upgrade the guard spots, you're going to do that in the draft, not so much free agency. I just personally like Ratledge. I like Mahogany. I know some don't. I think, hey, they're very young players. They're only going to get better, and I don't think it would take a massive leap for them to be highly effective. Frazier's still kind of the wild card in all this thing because he can play tackle. You know, there are reports say he can play center. We know he can play guard. How good, how much faith do you have him going to next year? We'll find out. I'll say, Medley, good morning, Coach Dan, the Duke Crew. Back at you. Hopefully having a good afternoon in Cairo. Jen, good morning, Henry and Johnny. Hassanin, good morning, all my friends. Back at you. Johnny, great afternoon to you, Mr. Hassanin. Jen, looks like Brad is cooking. Hopefully not injured players. Ooh, we will find out. Moonscar Blade, the man, the myth, the legend. Good morning, Dooku starting lineup. Yes, I got a new bowling ball last night, by the way, but it's got some sort of finger grips thing. I don't know. I've never seen that before, but apparently that is a thing in bowling. Jimmy, what do you got? Good morning, Dana Dooku. Back at you, my friend. Hopefully you're feeling well. Henry Morris Sr., good afternoon, Mr. Hassanin. Hookadoo, good morning, Hassanin. Grit wins? Yes, it does. Jen, good morning, Mr. Hassanin. I'm glad Ahmed is on the futures deal. I want to see him light the field up next year. Yes, I think we're all chopping a bit there. Five Fingers Ready, Drake. In my opinion, that's always been the ideal plan. We'll find out. It could be a part of the plan. Maybe the Lions don't really make moves in free agency or the draft on the offensive line. Maybe they feel like they already have it here. It is possible, but, just until we see that produce on the field, we don't know. Cynthia, good morning, all. Johnny, good morning, Cynthia. Good morning, Cynthia. Quentin, greetings, salutations, Juku. Come on, Brad, get us some goods in free agency. We've got a few months, but hey, we're probably all going to start hearing whispers about which this team is trying to sign, who that team's trying to sign, what we're trying to do in free agency. Trim Reaver, good morning, Coach Dan, the world-renowned Duke Crew, exclamation point, let's go Lions. Woo! Back at you, Jimmy. I don't know what the Lions see an ex-Detroit Lions backup quarterback to ever warrant an interview. David Blau, yeah, I don't know. There must be something there. They're going to give him an interview. Whether that's more of a courtesy, I don't know. Let's see. Henry Moore, good morning, Cynthia. I hope your day goes well. Steve Rogers, get a free agent center. Keep Rat and Chris Mahogany at guard. Frazier at tackle. Ooh, that's not a – I wouldn't be opposed to that. Now the question is, what tackle position do you have Frazier at? Left or right? Let me know your thoughts. Lion Dog, good morning to the awesome, great Coach Dan and Duke crew, and back at you, my friend, with an exclamation point. Until the Hun, all I want outside of their own resigns is Tyler Linderbaum and a veteran defensive tackle for depth. Yeah, could be exactly where they go. Detroit's going to have to pay like anybody who acquires Linderbaum. I think we all agree he's pretty dang good, and he's fairly young too. So you get him, you're probably securing that center spot for at least, the next 5 years? Mr. Hassan, do you know when they might be coming out with a Meds jersey? A few of us want one? Exclamation point. I don't know. Let's see if anybody else does know. Queen Mary, good morning. Duke crew, happy Thursday, and back at you. Pat Rock, how many trades does Brad perform in the draft is my question. I think that, and I know I've talked about it before, but I think because we're picking 17th, that opens up a multitude of trade options for you. I really do think the Lions are going to have ability to trade up or trade back if they so desire. Johnny Hill, good morning, Queen Mary. Johnny, this week seems to be flying by. Hey, it's always part of Lions Talk Live. It's helping you get through that week right there, Johnny. Let's see, Cynthia, good morning, Johnny L. Hoogadoo. Henry, this isn't the place to mention, but Mom is now with Lord. Sorry to hear that, and thoughts and prayers with you and the family. So best wishes in this troubling time for you. Anymore, a glorious morning to you, Queen Mary. Jimmy Allen, what do you got? Good morning, Queen Mary. Hookadoo, morning, Queen. I looked yesterday. They didn't even have his rookie jersey. Yeah, it happens. You might have to get a special order. Queen Mary, good morning, Johnny L. Hookadoo, Cynthia, James. Lauren, good morning, Coach Dan in the world of famous Duke crew. Woo! Back at you. Michael, sorry for your loss. 100%. Good morning, Cynthia. Yes, indeed. Sorry for your loss, says Pat. Jen, tell her that would be awesome, Linderbaum. It would be. It truly would be. Same old soup. Good morning, Coach Dan, the Duke crew. Back at you, my friend. Thank you for always being a part of the Duke crew. Anymore, I am so sad for your loss, Cynthia. She'll always be with you. 1,000%. 1,000%. Lauren, Delegate has custom jerseys about 2 to 3 weeks on shipping. There you go. Let's see. Hasi Mele, GMTO, Mr. Hoogadoo. Maybe good morning to Mr. Hoogadoo, Henry Moore, John, everybody on the list. There you go. Hoogadoo, Cynthia, praying for you and your family 1,000%. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Okay. Let's see. Jimmy Allen, good morning, Hoogadoo. Mary, man, what happened? And I need your name. I'm going to look you up to see if that works. Yes. Queen Mary, go ahead and look him up. Same old suit, just read it. 55 watching, 23 likes. Hit the like buttons, please. Yeah, hit all the buttons if you guys would. Tori, many possibilities in front of us. I concur. Coach Rock, good morning, Duke Crew. Johnny L, here comes the show. Give me my 5. Hey, we'll give you some 5 for sure. Coach Tony K, hey, Coach and Duke Crew, happy Thursday, and good to see you as always. Hoogadoo, Mary, I looked for you several times. Cynthia, good morning, Queen. No worries. I'm tough. I'm good. Well, still thoughts for you and the family. 100%. That's, never easy. Joe, like button press, exclamation point. Woo! Thank you, Joe. Jimmy, hey, everyone, do Dan a favor and hit the like. And if you haven't, please subscribe for the channel. Yeah, thank you to anybody who does that. It helps out, as I'm sure you guys all know. And appreciate it. Let's see, Hasi Medley, Miss Cynthia, sorry to hear that. Praying for you and the family. Yes, thank you for thoughts and prayers for the family. Queen Mary, Cynthia, my prayers are with you and family, my sister. There you go. The 302 kid. Good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. Exclamation point. Just hope we find a way to keep money. I agree with that. Hoogadoo, James, welcome to the party. Carrie, morning, everyone. Queen Mary, good morning, Rock. Let's see, 456. Get a center. Let's see if we can get one. Offensive line for left side. I like the way you're thinking. Joe, what do you got? Good morning, Coach. Where do you think if Detroit should go after John Harbaugh to be our new coach? That would be something. Well, to be the head coach, I guess, if we were to go after him, and that means we're getting rid of Dan Campbell. I don't think they're getting rid of Dan Campbell. I guess we could talk to Harbaugh about being a coordinator or something, maybe a special assistant, but it does sound like he's going to have a lot of opportunities to potentially return to be an NFL head coach this upcoming season. Coach Rock, grit morning, Mary. Hoogadoo, Rock of the morning, grit morning, excuse me. Pat, did anybody hear about Johnny Moe getting arrested last night? No, I did not hear anything about that. Jim, good morning, Coach and crew. Let's put a talent staff together before the Hula Bowl. We'll see if we can. Black Jared Jones, good morning, Duke Crew. 2026 takes no stuff. We'll take that. Cynthia, thank you. Mary and Henry, exclamation. I hope Mr. Holmes has good news in his presser today. That would be great, wouldn't it? Coach Rock, Cynthia, sorry for loss. Max, we need Jim Bob Cooter. I think we've been there, done that. Maybe they, I don't even know where he's at nowadays. Cynthia, thank you, Rock and Hookadoo. Attila, 59, too old. Yes, indeed. Dre Day, the Ravens will be terrible for the next 2 years. Firing a winning coach is insane, in your opinion. Yeah, it would be interesting to see why they did that, if they ever talk about it. Cynthia, thank you, Pat. Exclamation point. Queen Mary, I agree with you. Attila, Dre, Johnny L. Dre Day, did they fire Harbaugh? Yes, they did. Cynthia, thank you, Mr. Hassanin. Carrie, prayers for you and yours, Cynthia. Everything will be better with time. In time, and yes, indeed. Queen Mary, let's see. Good morning, Mr. Hassanin. Jim, I think John Harbaugh will take his staff with him. Probably a lot of them, if not all of them. Probably a lot of them, wherever he's hired, he will go. Queen Mary, good morning, Carrie. Bo, we're going to do super double secret probation negative, exclamation point. That's a tongue-tied twister. Cynthia, good morning, Jimmy. Carrie, morning, Queen. Bo, Hookadoo. Bo's laughing. Coach Rock, great morning, Hookadoo. Dre Day. Johnny L., he was fired 2 days ago, I believe. Yeah, you're right with that. Cynthia, thank you, Michael. I appreciate it. Johnny, wow, that's crazy. Good morning, Rockham. Great morning. See, Amy, what do you got? Good morning, Duke Crew, and our great coach, Dan. Exclamation point. Cynthia, sorry for your loss. My condolences fighting this illness. Cynthia, thank you, Carrie. It will. She will be in a million. She was one in a million. Excuse me. Johnny, good morning, Amy. Johnny L, sorry, Cynthia. Coach Rock, good morning, Hassani. Hope all is well. Cynthia, thank you, Amy. I hope you feel better soon. Yes, indeed. Coach Rock, good morning, Amy. Keep up the fight. Hope you're getting better. Cynthia, thank you very much, Johnny L. Riley O'Brien, good morning, all. Coach Dan and Duke Crew, 100%. And back at you. Johnny L, we are not the same old lines. No, I would agree with you there. I'm going to do Amy, welcome to the room of grit. See, Motor City Patriot, praying for you and your family, Cynthia. May God shine his healing light upon all of you. Yes, indeed. Hookadoo, rise and shine, right? Johnny L, NFL now stands for Flipping Lions. New Flipping Lions. I like that indeed. Cynthia, thank you so much, Motor City, with an exclamation point. Phil, greetings and salutations, and back at you. Coach Wright, seems like with this big mess the NFL is having with people thinking games are fixed, the owners would ask Roger Goodell. I got to imagine this offseason, the owners meeting, they've got to address this because it is starting to pick up more and more steam with the questionable officiating. And, one thing, maybe the questionable officiating's always been there. I just don't really remember it for the Lions and prior to 2007 or 8, at least not at the degree it happens now. But to be fair, I think you're seeing it more and more across the whole NFL. Pierce Rock, that only happens if revenues drop. Could be accurate. Pierce, I thought the Jets might try and steal Sheppard. Could be. Hookadoo, agreed, Rock, and get the NFL out of Vegas and the betting. We'll see if they can do that. Queen Mary, tell them, Johnny L, that record is broken. We are not the same old Lions. I fully agree there. Free for all, hope the owners will discuss the officiating and vote in a new commissioner. See if they can. T. Martinez, what do you got? Good morning. Exclamation. What time is Brad Holmes' press conference? I want to say it's noon, but don't hold me to that. Maybe it's later in the day. I just don't remember it off the top of my noggin. Sorry about that. Pierce, does anyone know what time Brad is speaking today? Thomas, I'd say about the D, we gave up 6 points more a game. Exclamation point. It lost 6 points, and we wonder why we're 9-8. Yeah, I'll go with that. Easy. 4 p.m., I think. Thank you for that. Martin's, let's see, go see a big life-size Lions cake. Yeah, I seen that in the video or whatever. Somebody had it on social media. But, yeah, they did an impressive job of the St. Brown, jumping over Gibbs. They made a cake of it. And, yeah, they put in some work. Eddie, the Lions need to have a backup plan in case Sheppard leaves. I bet they will. Pierce, easy. Thanks. Amy, Hookadoo, I feel gritless today. The whole household is sick. But keep fighting the good fight. Exclamation point. If you are healthy, you're blessed. Nothing wrong with that. 130 million freed up. Nice. They could. Doesn't mean they will, but they could go up to right around that number. Mary, Amy, healthy and healing for you and the family with all hearts. Don Burr, Boyd Moff from Seattle. Yes, he's on the list for sure. Eddie, due to Trey Hendrickson's age, I would not pay an outrageous price tag. Go after a younger defensive end that has not been hurt. Could be what they do. Brian, I hope the NFL is considering establishing a professional refs organization to better control the mistrust people are having with the part-time refs. Could be what they do. I mean, I think they got to do something about the refs. We'll see if they actually do something, though. Who do well? I hope you and your family are on the road to recovery. I concur. Attila, no to Max Crosby or Hendrickson. You can get someone as good as Phillips in the draft. Okay, there you go. There's an idea. Let's see, Thomas, yo, Brad, exclamation point. Get a match for Hutch. Trey is the guy. 2 years, $50 million. Attila, we have a 3-year window. Better smash it open right now. Don Burr, Partridge Centers Brown. Yeah, could be. Keith, could be somebody of interest. Attila, we need a pass rush from the linebacker position. Don't overspend on a defensive end and have manual effect. Okay? Don, offensive tackle equals draft 1. Could be where they go with it right away, 100%. Miss Karen, offensive coordinator has been fired. John Morton has, yes. John Morton was fired, I want to say a day or two ago, something like that. Karen, about a week ago. Okay. Hey, we got a new member. And just for that, Miss Emily, let's give you a proper reward. Let's give you a 1, 2, and a 3. Just got to find it on the screen. 1, 2, 3. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you for that. Thank you very much. All right, Brian, we lost this season because there was too much money that was bet on the over for our win totals. So the rest made sure we didn't get more than 10 wins. That could be. I just hate saying it, but it could be. James Marshawn Lattimore, a couple years ago I said yes. Now I don't know so much. Thomas, sorry, Attila, I don't agree. Got to get Hutch his twin. We cannot continue to give the quarterback 4 seconds to throw. Pressure means nothing if after 5 seconds. I'll go with that. Eddie, I'm Brian Branch. His Achilles tendon surgery. I had surgery on my left Achilles tendon twice. He should be fine by training camp. Let's hope so, man. Attila, I agree. You need someone, but not Anderson or Crosby for $30+ million. Phillips is injury prone, $20+ million. We can get great running mates in the draft who will be great day one. It might be. Maybe that's what Brad Holmes does. There is spending smart and spending stupid. All right. Johnny Gasworth, good morning. Dan the Duke crew. Exclamation point. Glad to see you guys, man. Thomas, Phillips is no better than Muhammad. If Mo played the same amount of downs, the same player. Okay, I'll go with that. And I do think they'll try to resign him too. Queen Mary says, good morning, Johnny Gas. Till the hunt, 100%. Eddie, Brian Branch, kid attendant. All right, I think we got this one before. All right, sorry about that. Let's see, Attila, don't want Phillips, Crosby, or Hendrickson getting injury prone and on the downside of the careers. Phil, doubt Kirby, Branch, or Laporta will be ready to play next fall. We will have the backups ready. Let's hope we're going to need them ready, right? Thomas Attila, I agree, but at the same time, you got to go for it. Max, Trey are in improvement no matter what and are as good as Hutch. Match up to Hutch. Let's see, 215 sacks defensive ends. 215 sacks defensive ends. Karen, I definitely love to know is the Super Bowl window is open or closed for Detroit Lions. It's open. I never would take it off the table. That's me, though. See, Eddie, and with the Achilles, it is a real sensitive, and his bone and his ankle will be weak right now, but should be fine by September. It depends on how his rehab went. I'm sure they'll put everything they can into rehabbing him. Queen Mary, who would you get for backup for Kirby? Probably, if it was me, somebody in the draft, although I might look at some free agents, but I'm not going to overly spend on it. Jimmy, all in on the offensive line, draft impact players, on defense, no projects. Yeah, and everybody's going to have 20 different opinions on this. I would sign free agent offensive lineman, just take care of the offense, get it back up if you believe you hire the right person at the offense coordinator. And then that frees up whatever we have, 7 draft picks, go all in on the defense. I don't think the defense is going to need a lot, but if you could add a significant pass rush presence, maybe a cornerback or 2, safety, maybe another defensive tackle, then I think the defense is looking pretty decent. I'll tell you, Karen, the Super Bowl window is a made-up narrative by the media. The window reopens every offseason. I agree. Jimmy, Goff got killed this year and still played well. Hit and sacked. Protect Goff, and we can beat anyone and keep money. I like the way you're thinking. Eddie, I think that the Lions should get a free agent offensive line if the price is right. It's going to be, they're going to have to pay. If they want a real upgrade, they're going to have to pay. Phil, hit all the buttons. Thank you for that, Phil. And let's see, Thomas, go after Garrett. I don't care his age. On a contending team, would play effectively 2 to 3 years. Trade anything after our 4th rounder. Get him, figure out the contract, send players 5th, 6th, 4th round picks. Yeah, I'm going to guess if you want Myles Garrett, you're going to have to give up probably like 2 or 3, probably closer to 3 first-round picks. I don't think they're going to go for late-round picks. Now, boy, can we stop commenting? Good morning. Let's focus on football. We're going to do, Dan, you need a Detroit Lions bowling ball. One of our bowling teammates, I guess he had an extra ball. I always use the house ball. I don't know anything about finger, whatever the things are that they have in the balls nowadays. But, yeah, I mean, it took some getting used to, but it wasn't bad. Lionel, what do you got? Is everyone gearing up for this weekend? Snow expected for 4+ days here in the UP. Well, be careful. Hopefully, you'll hit the store and get all stocked up for it. Phil, you want a bad morning? You want a bad morning? Preferably not, I guess. Thomas, my reason for Shep to go D-line was healthy most of the season, and our front seven could not stop anyone. We wonder why Campbell is now a Pro Bowler. He had to be. Okay. Henry Moore Sr., I can see that. Hookadoo. On Blue Lions as a weight block. Okay. Thomas, yo, Brad, for the next draft, no more projects. Time to win is now. I concur. Miles Moore, my condolences, Cynthia. Hookadoo, good morning, Knob. What do you got, Miles Moore? Nice in finally getting your own ball. I'm coming to bowl against you on February 4th. Take you to the whooping shed. So get your month to get better. Glad you finally got your own rock. Yeah, it takes some adjusting to. I've never seen or paid attention to finger grips or whatever they are, but it's definitely different. Thank you, Miles Moore. Jen, I would wait on Hassan jersey because of 91 becomes available. Ahmed might switch numbers. Hey, there you go. Phil, does anyone anymore? Oh, yeah. Well, we just did, right? Steven, good morning, Coach Dan. The Duke old philosophers won't work on a established team. Draft for backups, free agency for needs. Best available players will not work. Okay. Black Jared Jones is praying. Thomas, it means nothing, I know, but our window, I believe, is the next 3 years. Exclamation point. After that, we will need a quarterback. Could be indeed. Hookadoo. Me and Rock were talking about that yesterday, Jen. Okay. Bo, something I haven't seen anyone comment on. What effect does renegotiating contracts all the time have on your reputation? That I don't know. I mean, I would assume it means if you're renegotiating, you're pretty much committing to those players. So I think it would mean that you're really believing in those players. You got real depth and belief in them. Drew, good morning, Coach Dan and the Drew crew. Exclamation point. Much love to you and all of our Detroit Lions. And back at you. Phil, good question, Bo Booth. Brian, Ben Johnson praised Blau for his play suggestion and even used a couple. Okay. Drew, what up, though? Tuning in from Missouri. Enjoying your day, I'm hoping, my friend. Leslie Medley, Jen, you are right about Ahmed Hassani. Might change his jersey to 91 if it's available. Even Mr. Holmes knows that. He mentioned that to him. Okay, Lauren, links to Ahmed's jerseys. We'll find out. Jen, Mr. Hassani, that's why I'm waiting. Thomas, MCDC could be a good OC. Exclamation point. He just needs to get his ego out of the way. If he can kick field goals in the first half on 4th down and not have 230-pound running back throwing passes on third and 1, cost us 2 wins. Okay. Welcome to Lions Talk Live, says Queen Mary to Drew. Thomas, officials and calls, NFL won't really change anything if they're still making bank. That might be a factor. Lauren, Brad goes on at 4 p.m. Thank you for that clarification, Lauren. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thomas, just don't get it. Exclamation point. Med was healthy for the last game. Why in the world did you not play him? He would not give him a minimum of 30 plays. I'm guessing they just didn't feel like he was ready for it, so give him time to grow. Lionel, goodbye, Lions Talk Live. Skipped my comments for a reason. Don't know why. I've read them all. So, yeah, Lionel, I've been reading all your comments. So, if you've been missed, I guess let me know. But I don't show you've been missed. See, Amy, 127 likes out of 304 watching. Punch those buttons. Exclamation point. Bubba Lionel, it happens to all of us at times. Yeah, I feel like I've read your comments, but maybe there's been some I haven't seen. See, Hookadoo Lionel, he must have made a mistake. Yeah, I just go right down the list. For those who don't know, there's a list on the side of my screen. I just go down the list. So, I mean, if YouTube's not putting them out to me, then I don't know about it. Eddie, my thoughts and prayers go out to you and your family. Cynthia, Drede, Ahmed just needs to keep grinding and stay healthy. Maybe this year he can make 53-man roster since they signed him to a contract already. Could be possible. Hookadoo, Lionel, Dan is the only host that will even try and read all the comments unless he has a guest. Yeah, I do everything I can to get through the list. And yeah, I don't exclude anybody unless you're trying to advertise something or you're just being outright rude to people. For the most part, I just go right down the list and read comments. All right. Anyways, I'm highly skeptical on Holmes signing any impactful defensive line players. He has in the past few years. He won't pay the market value. He prefers players on prove-it deals coming off injuries and are cheap. Yes, I'd say that's accurate. Just O-line needs to be a focus center specifically. We think alike. I'll just say that. Hookadoo, Heavy Trails do crew one pride worldwide. Back at you. Just can't count on Decker or any of the players contemplating retirement. Need to avoid getting caught in their pants down like last year. Yeah, and MCDC did kind of talk about it. So they learned a lot of lessons from last year. I agree with them. I mean, if they knew going into free agency or the draft that Ragnow was considering it, I would have said, all right, you got until this day and time to make your response. Make your choice what you're going to do. Because he really did. I don't think he did it intentionally, but he hung the team out to dry. If they could have known going into free agency they needed a center or the draft, then they could have addressed that situation. I think we'd all agree. It impacted the offensive line probably far more than most of us would have anticipated. Just would love to get the Rams passing coordinator as the next OC. Queen Mary, have a good day, Hookadoo. Lauren, I punched the like button, almost broke my phone. What's your excuse? Ooh, I'm glad you didn't break the phone. Hookadoo, stay for a minute. I will stay. Let's see. Thomas, suplex the like, y'all. And I agree with that. Some nice WWE references there. Jess Ohms needs to remember the golden rule this offseason. Player availability is paramount. All right, Bo Booth. What do you got? Happy Trails do crew. All done and dusted for another day. See you tomorrow. We'll see you then. All right, guys, I'll go ahead and get out of here. If there is breaking news there today, I'll get it to you as soon as possible. Otherwise, if you'd be so kind before departing, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit all the ones. Take care. Be a good human being. Do something kind for somebody you don't know. We'll see you guys all in the next Lions Talk Live. Have a phenomenal day, everybody.